Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson of World Alternative Media here, and we're finally joined by the one and only Ray Fahy. Of course, he is the founder of BitChute, the most censored streaming platform, which is the best site to not be censored, ironically enough, for those that want to make videos and want to get information out there. And if you want to find information that you won't find on other alternatives that unfortunately in many cases do indeed censor, we're going to go into a few things today. But first, I urge people to check that link in the description, which would be bitchute.com/affiliate/WAM, W-A-M, where you could become a member. You can get a VPN with that. You can also get a whole bunch of other perks, ad-free, and of course, on top of that, really interesting, you could change your own homepage to be the way you wish to see it, and there's much more to that as well. But I wanted to first go into this situation of censorship because, Ray, you've been banned in multiple countries as far as BitChute goes, and that includes, I believe now, the UK. I think Brazil is one of those.
Do you know, we've been banned in places and then we get unbanned again. Actually, in the UK, it was because of the Online Safety Act and Ofcom that we took a principled stance and moved physically the corporate entity out of the UK, and I'm already relocated out of the UK. But the reason is that it's called the Online Safety Act, but actually it's the Online Censorship and Surveillance Act. They wanted us to censor and surveil our users on behalf of the British government, and that is something that we wouldn't do. That's a red line for us. So rather than compromising BitChute, we decided to leave the UK and pull out entirely. But I just wanted to say one thing about the perks you mentioned at the start. You said edit your own homepage. No, members actually get to edit the BitChute homepage. Yeah. So every time they like a video, that goes onto the homepage, which is something that no other platform is doing. Every other platform, even free speech ones, they curate carefully what goes on the homepage. But we have that much trust in our members that we allow them to decide what gets seen by other viewers.
Right. No, that's amazing. And, when I say it's one of the most censored platforms, I mean, we are seeing all these countries go after it. And I want to ask you exactly, what is the issue that they raise with BitChute that they say you cannot see BitChute? Because there's a lot of alternatives out there, and many of them, and I won't mention names here, but some are like listed on the New York Stock Exchange and have some interesting investors in it. You guys don't have, you guys should be making a lot more money than you are, because you are providing a space which no one else is. Everyone, as soon as X came back around and said, oh, we'll bring back accounts, YouTube's bring back accounts, they're pulling people off of your website back to the same place that censored them in the first place. So this is a very dangerous situation when we need that free flow of information. What exactly are they saying when they come after you, and what do they want you to censor?
Well, first of all, other platforms that even promote freedom of speech, and I commend any platform that promotes freedom of speech, but I think we're one of the only platforms that says it's freedom of speech and reach. Mm-hmm. So, if you create a great video, people will find it on BitChute, they will get to see it, whereas on other platforms it might be there, but it might be almost invisible. That's not the case with BitChute. But it's worse than just countries. The censorship has been going on for years, so we've been banned from banks in the UK, from payments processors, from hosting, from even office space, you name it. I think we're the most deplatformed platform out there. But, I don't like to complain about this, because we're still standing, we're still fighting. We relocated to the USA, and we're still providing the service that we set out to provide in 2017. So, it's not bad news, it's good news, is how I look at it, that if you are prepared to stand up to the system, you can survive, you can thrive. But what they're saying, so in terms of what governments are trying to do, they don't want to come outright and say, hey, this is a government edict that you have to censor. They want to put that responsibility onto the platforms and make it look like it's the platforms that are choosing to do that. And some platforms do choose that, most in fact. But in the case of BitChute, we just said, look, we don't want to be in a position where we have to hand over large amounts of data about our users, and we don't want to be in a position where we have to shut down users for making perfectly reasonable arguments, or saying things that are not otherwise illegal, but some bureaucrat has decided that is not free speech, and I believe it is.
Yeah. I mean, and there's no doubt there's some things on BitChute that you come across where you go, whoa. But I want to be on a platform where I go, whoa, because I think we need that diversity of thought, where if someone feels they don't like something, they can comment on that video. And trust me, I get a lot of bad comments on BitChute, but that's okay, because I want to have that reach of people that might not agree with me on something. And of course, you can't impress everyone. But with that, I wanted to ask you, what made you want to take on this huge agenda of actually bringing free speech to people online? What was it that made something snap in your mind and go, hey, I need to create an alternative?
Yeah, so it's about a decade ago now that I was a big fan of alternative media. I still am. Mm-hmm. And, I was following people in the libertarian movement, people here today at Anarchapulco, and they were starting to talk about having videos removed from YouTube, having their accounts restricted, and I thought, there is something I can do about it. The question at that time is, who gets to control distribution? And big tech's idea was having an authoritarian approach where it's centralized, where they get to dictate how the algorithms work, and the algorithms work on the preferences of advertisers. And advertisers, have conflicts of interest. We saw that through COVID, where a massive advertiser was Big Pharma, and their people had valid concerns, but their videos were not getting any reach, or were taken down, or channels were closed down entirely for what at the time some people were saying was dangerous misinformation, but now has been proven to widely be considered as true. So back in 2017, I saw what was coming. I was listening to people who were telling me what was coming, and I just decided this is something I needed to do.
Yeah, I believe the first video I posted on there was with Ben Swan back in 2018. And, I went back and forth for a while, but I have to say, for years I said to everyone on YouTube, eventually this channel will be taken down, something I've never feared with BitChute. I said, eventually the channel will be taken down. Please go over to BitChute and subscribe. It saved my life when my YouTube channel got taken down. I mean that. And, I want to ask you, obviously, a lot of people will go, well, I don't want to make that move from one URL to another, which I think is lazy, honestly. I think, it's that issue with convenience that people have today. But why, stay with an abuser like YouTube when, after everything we've seen, what do you think it is that when someone is on YouTube, they won't just make that little move to BitChute? Because BitChute looks amazing today, by the way. The homepage looks amazing. The layout looks amazing. There's revenue sharing for a lot of people. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. What makes it so that people go, no, I'm just going to stay on YouTube. I'm not going to make that move over to BitChute?
I think one of the enemies of freedom is convenience, and people find YouTube incredibly convenient. It's what they're used to. But what I would say is, when our freedoms are taken away from us, it's done little by little. It's the slow march to tyranny. Some people call it boiling the frogs. But in order to reverse this, we need to do the opposite, because little by little we can also improve our lives. We can make our lives more free, and lots of people making little changes can really help. So, please do, just, if you're following people, see what alternatives they're on. Just it takes 5 minutes to set up an account. Think about even telling other people to follow the creators that they like on alternative platforms, and make some changes in your lives that make your life more free. It doesn't take a lot of effort, and I think if more people do that, we won't be boiling the frogs, we'll be boiling the whale.
Yeah. Well, and you've been so supportive of World Alternative Media on there over the years. I've talked with you on and off going back to, I think, 2018, 2019. I remember you're the first person I messaged when YouTube took down my channel back in 2020. I said, hey, this is an emergency. I don't know what I'm going to do. I have to get people over to BitChute, which again, I tried for years. And of course, many people did go over. And I'm very happy for those of you watching this video on BitChute. I know many of you are watching it on different platforms right now, but I say, even if you're using those other platforms, go subscribe on BitChute. And they need support because they're the ones that aren't messing with the algorithm and shadow banning and keeping people's videos away from being seen. This is something that almost every platform does and BitChute doesn't do. And it's so important to support these because in the future, if we don't, we're going to be stuck with the old guard. That old guard is going to ensure that you never see the content that you need to see. Ray, we have obviously there's a big hill to climb in getting people to actually take this seriously, obviously, but more people are than ever. Why should people become a member and actually get involved in supporting BitChute in the way that can actually keep it alive for the from here into the long future?
Yeah, I think if you care about freedom, then you have to support the things that give you freedom. And, BitChute hopefully is just a part of that. You have to support the content creators like Josh. And, if you buy a BitChute membership using Josh's affiliate link, then you're supporting both the platform and World Alternative Media, which, is a beautiful thing. But I just want to also say, because you mentioned the shadow banning, not only do we not shadow ban, we are the only platform that puts a financial guarantee behind that. So if anyone can prove that they've been shadow banned on BitChute, which we don't do, they will get $10,000. We're that confident. No other platform does that. And to everyone, if you want freedom, then you have to take a bit of personal responsibility. That is what part of freedom is. Yeah. So please do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the word is getting out to some degree. I mean, I've seen randomly on like Joe Rogan's podcast, Roseanne Barr talking about BitChute and a video she saw on BitChute. It's out there. A lot of big names know about it. It's just that I think people need to put more incentive into supporting BitChute rather than some of the other alternatives. Again, not to attack all the other alternatives, but I mean, there's a difference between almost all of them and what BitChute is doing, which is completely unique and something that I think could save people from being manipulated by those that wish to manipulate information out there. Again, you have the freedom to say what you want. You have the freedom to view what you want, and that's something that unfortunately, it's crazy to say, but is entirely rare today. So Ray, I really appreciate what you do. And again, we have a link in the description. Again, that's bitchute.com/affiliate/WAM, WAM, to sign up, become a member, get that VPN. You get ad-free. You get there's so much. Again, you can make your own homepage the way you want to see it, which is something I haven't seen anywhere. And the way it looks today, I mean, old BitChute. I always liked old BitChute, to be honest, like the more analog look. But the way you guys have made it today and changed the homepage and done all that, it just looks beautiful. Live streaming, is that something that people can look forward to? I know it's possible for people like myself. Is that going to be something that a lot of people can do?
Oh yeah, everyone can live stream now. So once you've got an account, you can start live streaming immediately.
Wow. Oh, excellent. All right. Well, where can people support you on social media and other places in order to help get the message out?
So bitchute.com/Ray for my channel.
All right.
Thanks very much.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it.